able to deal with that and maybe have a more cohesive game. So, fingers crossed for them.
Oh, here we go. I've never been so happy to see a draft screen in my life. Influence Rage on the blue side, Homebois for the red, and Influence Rage still prioritizing the Fanny ban. That's their priority ban in whichever side they were on yesterday as well. They banned out Esmeralda twice. They changed things up with the mid lane bans up against the FYG. But if they go for the Fanny Esme ban again, I feel like they're shoehorning themselves into a very specific way to draft. I feel like they could let go of the Esmeralda ban and just ban something else.
Yeah, I'm thinking about Esmeralda just being left out on the board. But you know what? We've seen comps really maximize Esmeralda getting banned out, especially if you're planning to throw a Harif out on the field, right? So again, Harif, despite the nerfs, I feel like it's still such a good pickup. So not gonna be surprised if we see something similar to that.
Yep. Angela gets taken out by Influence Rage, and even though we didn't get to see Homeboys get a win with the back-to-back Angela lineups that they fielded in the series against Onyx yesterday, I still feel like this is a very solid ban. Just goes to show that they probably don't want to go up against a little bit more of the very aggressive, quickly snowballing compositions that Homeboys can dish out. So maybe they will commit another Hilda ban again, or maybe even look towards taking away a hero such as the Grok. Well, just as we said, there we go.
Right on cue. There you go. Because yeah, the Grok, despite, again, if you guys have read the patch notes, pretty significant nerf on the ability, especially on your crowd control immunity. But while tech charge is as strong as ever, strong to make a setup happen. Again, the triple knockup, the almost triple knockup that you can achieve with the Grok is really something that they really want to address here. Now, I'm wondering if we can see a Leomord today. Again, maybe, hopefully, fingers crossed. That might be pretty good, although it's going to be less of a factor since the Angela is banned out.
Probably without the Angela, you look a little bit less onto the Leomord, so maybe we'll see a little bit more standard picks here by Homeboys. CC gets taken out. Juicin, maybe Lancelot. Lots of options available for the first pick rock hard.
Yeah, Jushin is... Again, 4 seconds before you can stack up again. Man, what did they do to you? Like, as a popular meme would say, what did they do to my boy? It's gonna be so hard to actually recommend Zushin for first pick unless you're already happy to just destroy one target at a go. But Lancelot still remains the prime first pick, at least for this game.
Okay, so they're going to be trading out assassins. Will it be the Ascension right away with the Lapu Lapu gone? Homeboys trying to... There's a lot of ways that they could go for. Maybe Kalea, I think, would be a great pickup. Just have the crowd control right away. It still allows you to play bully style. If not that, you go... Gotcha if you want to take away a really strong roam pick. But we mentioned Grok and Hilda earlier. That's getting hovered right now. Kalea's there. And why not go for both? Oh, they already show it right away. It's going to be an EXP lane Hilda and a roam Kalea.
That's true. This is definitely up to par with what I'm kind of expecting already for Homeboys. That Kalea, by the way, is much needed balance to what I know Homeboys can do. Homeboys likes to go ham very quickly. Yesterday, they were very aggressive on all fronts. This time around with the Kalea, it's more controlled aggression, right? You make a pickoff happen, you bring it to a safe location, and then you wail on the guy.
Hopefully, they'll be able to get those initiations like that. They could pick apart Influence Rage one by one. I think Juicin would still be very warranted here. Eve would be okay, but I'd lean a little bit more towards the Juicin. They pick up an Esmeralda. They don't get their mid yet. They decide to prio the Esme and the Gatatkacha. The Gatatkacha, I understand. I feel like the Esmeralda could have come in a little bit later. So now You get strong damage, strong control. I like the first 3 picks of Homeboys in the sense that they already get to cover with what they need. Maybe they'll just need a little bit more range. Maybe they'll get it from a Granger later, or I don't think this Lunox is going to be going to the gold lane, so the range will probably come through the gold. If not, they might just double down also and just full-on fighters yet again. Put a fighter in the gold lane. But the thing is, we don't see their jungler just yet. If I'm Influence Rage, you have to take out the Yi Sun already.
Oh yeah, for sure. The Yi Sun feels like it is the prime candidate because you can bet that the Homeboys are going to be fielding a really strong fighter. Despite, CC and Lapu Lapu getting banned out. It feels like it's still a Ruby game. Or Rubyable game, as they say. So, there you go. Right on the docket. It's like Renmar's watching an advanced feed.
I am not. I
know you're not.
But like, I am not. Just want to be clear about that. So, Selena gets removed. I don't know how to feel about the Selena. Maybe you're seeing something that I'm not here, because I don't know why they would take this out.
Yeah, the Selena, it can get a little crazy. Especially without a Grok in your lineup, but there is still a Gatot Kacha. I don't think it was. I just don't know. I don't know why you would also ban it out. I'm out of guesses. But yeah, but I would really like to see maybe a classic gold laner here for Influence Rage. For some reason, I feel like they can try to take 2 on the Granger. Still feels like Fury is really good on that one. What? Really?
Oh. Yeah, I'm honestly just as surprised as you are. They didn't need to go for that Leomord ban. The Angela's already gone. The Leomord will still work without the Angela, but
for sure,
it's not something you have to worry about considering you're playing around the Lancelot and a Gatot Kacha. So maybe Influence Rage is just being careful. Maybe that's also why Homeboys took out the Selena. We did get to see Syndrak play that in game number 1. And a Gatot Kacha and Selena together is a lot of crowd control. So that would make sense. Homeboys, I like this pickup of the Suyo, but we don't see the mid laner yet. That might be a little bit too much magic damage for the lineup of Influence Rage that they'll end up with. Maybe go for the Kimmy instead of the Eve, but the Eve would still be okay. Valentina, interestingly enough, is what they go for.
Why though? Are you thinking about just copying Tsunami Slam over and over again? Is that the plan here? Eve was good. Eve was a pretty good pick. You create a box, you let the Esmeralda and Gatot Kacha fight in it, and make it hard for everyone else to get out. Wow. Influence Rage is playing on a different wavelength here. They might be trying something new, because this doesn't feel like the optimal pick here.
Yeah, Tsunami Slam will be good. Get the Brilliance out. You know what? Let's see. I mean, we were surprised by Influence Rage in game number 1 of against the FYG when they were making the Grok and the Glue and the Selena work in the mid lane. And as expected, since Homeboys decided to go for the 4th pick Suyo red side, Influence Rage closed out their draft with 2 more magic damage dealers. So there's a chance this is going to be a tough game here for the jungler of Homeboys. Considering that, yes, despite the adjustments to Suyo, making him just a little bit better, adding a little bit more damage, we got to see 10 of Zeta Division perform very well with the Suyo. Still, the biggest thing that the reason why Suyo fell out of the meta is because they took out his magic defense in the immortal form. That's still gone. Now, with all the magic damage on the inside of Influence Rage, it might be tough. Moskov is the last pick there for Homeboys. They get their range. What do you think about this?
I like it, because they already have like really good early game team fighting anyway with the Suyo and the Lunox. So go ahead and get yourself a late game insurance policy. We saw it pay off yesterday, and that could happen as well today. Although the laning might be a bit of a problem. We've already seen Moskov and Harif games, turn out pretty well for either side. So I don't mind this. Homeboys, again, the only questionable pick I have is, like, interesting that you would choose the Valentina over, like, an Eve or a Farsa. But, again, I'm very happy to be, I'm going to be very happy to be proven wrong here, Renmar.
All right. Heading into the game number 1. We're gonna see though if we'll be able to continue it. Hopefully things are all right on the player side. We pause as we enter for the lineup. So it's a question of if they'll be able to end this quickly, because if they don't, they might just fall down to the lineup that Homeboys decided to field a little bit more even, a little bit more what we're used to. Okay, game number 1 for Influence Rage versus Homeboys. Let's see how they'll start things off.
Yeah, you know what? The Harif actually just got improved so much that it's in terms of like sustainability, that I don't think he's gonna have a hard time here. I feel like in the late game they might just go even Stevens against each other, and I'm very excited to see that. Right, so far I would say that Esmeralda might be like the big initiator here. That's what I'm thinking about Influence Rage, right? I feel like their engage is just this, right? This Paquito right here.
Oh, too much damage coming out from the side of Influence Rage. They're starting things off early, but Yotun goes down way too quickly. Homeboy's now here for the clapback. Turn around as well. Wavebreaker connects. Here comes Chino. Maybe the Esmeralda will be the turnaround factor, and it looks like it will be. That's a double kill for Chino, but MelQT takes Syndrak down. MelQT trying to stay away from the Esmeralda, and he'll be able to create some space. Amal will not be able to land the stun. CC immune by Chino, and Influence Rage and Homeboys both back off. Aggressive rotations to start things off.
Yeah, that's very aggressive. It's free as well. It looks like we're gonna be blessed here with a very brawly game. Seems to be both teams are very much out for blood here. And now look at Izanami. Ooh, that's a lot of damage. They didn't really touch that Gacha that much. You know, what makes a Gacha still pretty much strong is, you know, the amount of harass and poke that you can actually dish out, and that's pretty much here still with Paquito.
They've really set the tempo with that first team fight. Lots of trading, and let's see if Homeboys will be able to get the trade of their own. I set on the Esmeralda, no more Purify here. They might be able to bring Chino down low enough so that they'll have a man advantage come to the next objective. A taunt onto Reza, but not enough follow-up. Amal is close by. The taunt and the Tsunami Slam, they punish. But it's actually the Valentina cosplay of the Kalea that made sure that Daniel would fall down there. That's a kill for Influence Rage. It's a 5 versus 4 advantage.
The one skill that we knew that Syndrak would take, he got it. And mind you, that was a level 4 Valentina because of the passive. It arrives to level 4 a lot earlier than the Kalea, which is actually now level 3. So, man, we're getting a little bit of a treat, or we're getting a little bit of a preview of exactly why he picked it up. So aggressive, and in the front line, you can kind of just bet that he's just going to hold on to that Tsunami Slam all game long. Because honestly, that's the best thing you can do. And the alternative is, again, maybe the Brilliance from the Lunox. Either one of those can work.
Daniel now already has a Tsunami Slam. He's level 4, Darkening, and the KS assault by Izanami. Is it going to be enough to take down Paquito? And it will be. Amal takes down the Gacha. Reza with the zone out onto Jotun and Syndrak. That's why Influence Rage weren't able to help out their roamer as well as they could. And it seems like Rage is looking to giving this turtle up as Homeboys has the man advantage. Jotun backs off and he will go to the purple buff, but great rotation by MelQT. He protects the purple buff of Homeboys, sending the Lancelot back, and now Rage will have to try and help Jotun to escape, and they do.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Homeboys kind of just know how to, you know, make sure that they are taking multiple facets of the map at the same time without any form of counter here, or counterplay.
Yikes.
Izanami! Oh my goodness, look at that guy.
A little bit too greedy. He flickered forward. Jotun already used a Phantom Execution, but too much distance between him and the Lunox. Chino, with the passive and the shield, was able to keep him alive, almost taken out there. But Rage, I set onto making MelQT struggle. They'll be able to get a lot more gold for Fury this time around. So I like how one of our problems with Rage in day number 1, it seems like they have fixed for this game number 1 against Homeboys. They're helping Fury out way more.
Yeah, for sure. Fury, especially if you're on Harif, especially in this iteration of Harif, feels like you don't actually need that much help. But if you do help out, it's gonna just let the Harif just do more damage, right? Just be able to do more for your team. And that's exactly what's happening here. Not to mention, it's also farming very, very well.
Oh, Tsunami Slam already locked in there by Daniel, and that is going to be Paquito going down. Lots of damage coming out, though, from Rage through the Harith and through the burst that they all have. Jotun finishes off the kill onto Reza, but he's going to end up becoming a trade. Here comes MelQT chasing after Fury. Will he have another dash ready for him? And the Spear of Destruction misses, but the stun through the Blade Surge of Amal connects, completing the kill onto the Harith.
I am feeling this Suyo right now, bro. It feels like... Is it just me? Does it feel so good? It's a Nami! Oh my goodness. Chino, careful where you step, bro.
Yeah, Homeboys has a lot of damage through their Lunox as well. Paquito, you might want to back off unless, okay, you really, really want to get this Lord. But here comes Jotun. Looks like a Rage will be able to fight for this turtle, excuse me. Amal able to win the retry battle, and that is going to be Chino falling down. Rage might lose more members, but Homeboys decide not to overcommit the chase, and Rage only lose their Esmeralda.
And Chino is 2-0, but I don't know, feels so squishy against the Lunox that we saw earlier.
This is what we were feeling about the draft, wherein Rage could have picked up that Esmeralda at a different time. Although he is 2-1-1, and we did get to see his value through the early game rotations with a big trade we saw for the first team fight when it went 3-3 in terms of the kills. But now as it's going on, you're right, Izanami is already just a problem for that Esmeralda. Chino doesn't have the right items yet to survive the onslaught of the Lunox.
Yeah, this Lunox is paying off dividends so far for Homeboys. I mean, as much as there are so many tanky heroes inside of Influence Rage, they can deal with it. And if not with the Suyo, again, with the shredding damage of a Lunox, and we haven't even talked about MelQT, right? He hasn't actually joined a lot of these fights. He's trying to farm up as much as he can. He's also 2-0. So,
yeah,
you can expect this. They also have, like, really good late-game insurance policy in this game.
Yeah, for sure. We're just going to be waiting for MelQT to hit his trinity of items once he gets there. But from the little times that we got to see MelQT, it seems like the damage is already decent. But as we're getting closer to the 8-minute mark, once we hit around 10 to 11 minutes, that should already be a go signal that both gold laners are healthy enough to just continue fighting with the rest of the team, and that they go for the late game builds through winning team fights alone. There you go, Golden Staff now locked in for this Moskov. Don't think he has a trinity just yet with this gold, but that's already a go sign. He's ready.
Oh, yeah, speaking of, he's very ready. Oh,
in the mid, Chino just gets blasted, spotted. This Esmeralda cannot be the one getting vision for the team, although he was with Paquito. Homeboys, we're just locked in on taking that Esmeralda down. AOG, MelQT able to sidestep, but he will just get locked down by the Lancelot. Jotun gets the kill on the Moskov.
Yeah, speaking of locked in, that Moskov did not stand a chance, surrounded by 4 players here for Influence Rage. That's a little bit of a, a little bit of signs of life here for Influence Rage. Then again, they do have a lot of standing gold to take on the map. Reza, be in trouble. Where's the flicker out?
Okay, good thing he was able to still flicker on out of there. But yet again, Chino gets spotted out by Homeboy's top side. Rage could not get Reza down, but at least they got the tower out. A step in the right direction for Rage. Homeboys, they may have more towers, they may have slightly more gold, but this isn't a definitive lead by all means, unless they can find Jotun. Daniel goes in, CC immune, but in the end, that's going to be Tsunami Slam everything. Phantom Execution, Jotun, just delaying the inevitable. He is not quick enough to avoid the hit of the Spear of Destruction. MelQT connects.
That's a bit of a nice alley-oop as well, going straight to the pockets of MelQT. I mean, that was good. That's the best case scenario for Homeboys. And yeah, that Forned Rose actually might have been better off just not cast, just give it over to someone here, to Amal. But either way, Amal was going to be able to use it. It's going to get more damage on the Suyo. So I guess your Influence Rage, let's try to catch up, I guess. And the goal lead, to be fair, I'm surprised it's only a 2K. Yeah. You know, considering all the carnage that's happening on the map here.
Yeah.
I guess Influence Rage are still getting, or not as bad of a position as we thought they would be.
Yep, definitely. Still within reach for them In terms of the junglers, there is a significant lead between the Lancelot and the Suyo. While for at least for the Harith, he does have a slight lead, Fury, over MelQT. Although at this point you could just say it's quite even. So the main difference right now is coming through in the jungle damage output. But at this point, if you're Influence Rage, if you're a Jotun, you just have your eyes set and making sure you can Retribution this Lord away. But then now how are you going to play this macro game? With Homeboys having the advantage in the towers up top, they're playing through a Moskov. They might get pulled across the map at the wrong time. You see Amal and Daniel already holding a good spot in the Lord. Homeboys have perfect positioning right now.
Yeah, very much perfect positioning. I think that we'll be able to really just, keep the momentum going. They've got good vision of all the bushes. No way for Jotun to actually get near. That was actually really, really good.
Way too fast to take down that Lord than as expected. Because Homeboys just has a little bit more footing in the map. It's easier for them to play around and dance around the Lords. They continue to take turrets, and with this Lord marching in, it's going to be heading towards the direction of Homeboys taking maybe close to a 5,000 to 6,000 gold lead, and Rage will be scrambling to play from behind.
Playing from behind in this scenario doesn't feel good, right? Because you got to take care of your Harith. Your Harith is your primary damage dealing source. I think at this point, Syndrak is just a crowd control machine, right? So, aside from Fury, like Jotun maybe, but he's a little bit too behind to actually make a big difference. Again, all eyes on Fury. Again, just take lessons from yesterday and just don't leave him behind. They might just stick to being a 5-man unit for the remainder of this game.
So if they'll be able to make that work, and that is a Tsunami Slam committed by Daniel. That's going to be a pick-off, but Daniel also brought down really low. A lot of health taken out of him in that attempt to start things off. Rage, eventually it works out for them in that defense. No base turrets go down. They lose a tower in the mid, but Homeboys are still going to have to work a little bit harder to end this game.
Yeah, for sure. They're going to have to work so much harder, and again, just make sure to maybe get more shredding, because Izanami, wait for items for Izanami, wait for items for MelQT. Because I feel like despite Chino falling behind in the earlier parts of the game, this time around it feels like he can actually just do more, survive more, the longer this game is progressing.
And they'll need their sandbags for their formation to eat up as much damage as they can before they inevitably have to back off. But at that time, Influence Rage will hope that their damage leaders are ready. They spot each other out. Daniel already commits a Tsunami Slam, but they fall into a death bush of Rage under the Zalman Force. Fury takes down Daniel. 2 members of Homeboys down. Chino going after Rez alongside Jotun. The Hilda will be able to run away, but just like that, advantage for Rage.
Yeah, that's big advantage here for Influence Rage. That's as much as they got in the past, 10 minutes of this game, so I'll take that any day. And without losing any members, that is impressive. Again, maybe the fact that 3 of them are rocking Purify and Paquitos has the Revitalize is really making it a bit harder for Daniel to actually make a clean engage or a clean pickoff. They're definitely going to suffer some consequences if they don't insta-burst 100 to 0 whoever they're targeting, whoever they're Tsunami slamming.
Definitely. Fury now has a Divine Glaive as well, so it's going to be even tougher for Homeboys. I think the Homeboys was also just completely caught off guard with the amount of members of Rage that were actually together alongside Paquito in that bush. And now Rage are trying to push the issue with this Lord. Daniel trying to find an angle to get a good Tsunami Slam to put Jotun down. But the Zalman Force gets dropped down, and now Homeboys can get close enough unless Amal actually steals the Lord away. AOG by Paquito, but they're trying to buy time because in the mid, MelQT has a sight set on applying the pressure in the base. And now they're stuck between members of Homeboys. Rage trying to play around Fury, and it's working. Jotun gets a triple kill. Izanami, though, gets the shutdown, but this Lunox falls. It's just Amal left. Rage has 3 members, but they'll have to clear Waves and the Lord.
Damn, that was kited hard. That could have been really bad for Influence Rage. They are playing so well on the clutch situation. It's pretty, it's actually amazing me. It's pretty good. Wow. So far, Influence Rage has been able to find like really good gaps in the armor over and over again. Jotun, by the way, was huge stonks in that last exchange. Very impressive, I gotta say.
Yeah. Jotun with the kills. You see there the raw firepower brought out by the skill-based burst that Rage has through the Harith, through the Valentina. And you even see the Terrify, the taunts, all the crowd control that Rage has. As little as it may be, layered together well actually buys enough time for Rage to fight well against the Homeboys.
Yeah, they're doing very, very well here. But again, does not take away from the fact that Homeboys actually broke down that inhibitor turret on the mid, right? So all of that was happening because Melcutie was a little bit too busy on the mid. So that was essentially a 4v5 that Influence Rage actually got. And they walked away there like with bruises all over their faces. So item check here looks like, again, Influence Rage does feel like they're catching up. And it's just not as bad as we think it is for them. Look at that goal lead. 3,000 at 16 minutes. That's doable. We've seen comebacks done easier compared to that.
Yeah, it's not that much of a deficit anymore. The main deficit you're looking at is towards the mid lane. If just a little bit more damage for Syndrak would be good. Izanami, though, just got to build up the lantern. So Paquito and Chino are going to be going down significantly faster than we saw in the last fight. And now Rage, they do have the Divine Glaive already built as well for Fury. So at this point, it's just which front line is going to be able to hold on quicker. The good thing is, though, Homeboys has the Suyo. They're playing around the Suyo that can be utilized to just hunt down for the Valentina and Harith. But if you're under the Zaman Force, it's tough. Meanwhile, the Lancelot for Jotun has a higher chance that he'll actually be able to mess up the Moskov, considering the Moskov and maybe even the Lunox plays a little bit more in the back.
Yeah. From that back line, obviously that Lunox Izanami is doing good. He's doing good on the back and the front every time he goes in with a brilliance. So, again, earlier it was just a little bit, what do you call this? A little bit short. But I think that if that was like positioned better, that would have been also like a bit of a non-starter, right? Influence Rage would have also suffered casualties in that last big team fight. So let's see if they can do better now that they are grouped up as 5. Here comes Daniel. Flickers in.
He'll be able to get the Tsunami Slam entry already. Brilliance of the Darkening Chaos Assault, all used by Homeboys, but they're just buying time for Amal to get this Lord without a problem. Rage focused a little bit too hard in getting the kills, and now they're going to have to try and chase down members of Homeboys, and they have to look at making sure the Lord doesn't get past the center of the river.
I'm not sure if they can actually use this Lord at all. The Lord just spawned way too quickly, like almost immediately. I don't think they timed the kill time correctly, but to be fair, you can't really time it anymore because Influence Rage was knocking at your door. So I don't blame him, but they will lose out. This is basically even Stevens, and I would say actually even better for Influence Rage. They got more real estate because of that.
Yeah, my Homeboy still has what? Just a 3,000 gold lead at this point of the game. That's barely anything anymore. At this point, you're just trading and buying for immortalities and winter crowns. Rage being able to get the tower in mid, as you mentioned, after all of that, way better result for them. And they were able to get a kill as well. So now, Homeboys, they have to drag out the Lord Dances if they can just a little bit better. Daniel and Izanami may have pulled the trigger on that a little bit too soon. They found an opening, yes. But at the end, the Lord went down at a time where you couldn't make the most out of it, meaning that they could have played for the longer Lord Dance.
Yeah, again, maybe if you weren't ready to take it on the dot, maybe it would have been better to just reset. I think Homeboys had that option earlier, right? But yeah, maybe again, they're thinking a different way here. They might be thinking about in terms of like map. It maybe at that point, they felt like they had a better control of the map. The waves are in a better position. Try to go for something risky. But then again, you cannot really calculate well if there is also a Tsunami Slam on the other side, right? Syndrak has been holding on to that for like how many minutes now. And because of that, your timings could be off. You could be taken by surprise, which we did saw earlier. You see earlier, and it's just so good. It's so good for Influence Rage to have Syndrak on the Tsunami Slam, I'm starting to really think that, you know what, it's worth it. It's very much worth it in this one.
That was their main pick after they saw the Kalea. They decided they wanted a Tsunami Slam for themselves. Concentrated energy just built up here by Fury. And what do these two teams need to do as we head into what could most likely be the final Lord fight of the game, Rockhart?
I think Homeboys will not rush this anymore. They do have a lot of time to... They have a lot of options to control the waves, right? They've got a Moskov on their side, which can really make some cross-map plays. So I'm thinking maybe we can wait for that to happen for you.
As we see the situation, it still does feel that way. Rage moving together as a unit, trying to get a pick off right away that they could build an advantage through, while at the same time looking towards taking care of the maps, taking care of the side lanes, moving together as a team to just push the sides, which then now opens Homeboys to just send one. So this is what we're talking about in terms of Homeboys having the advantage in the map.
Yeah, big advantage. Not to mention, like, their Suyo is already, like, super mobile, right? That's already built in. We kind of forget how fast a Suyo can actually just go around the map because of the dual dashes. Oh, Brilliant's gonna be at force here. That's pretty big. They're gonna go for the chase.
They really just go for the Lunox, and that's already a massive ultimate taken away. One big source of damage gone. Rage still sticking together, but look at the control in the map through that Moskov, through the minion wave pushed up top. All of that effort, and Homeboys is the one to start out this Lord. Soft reset. Good move. See Halberd built up by MelQT. Rage now scrambling to try and take control of the map. They're slowly losing. An entry by Daniel. He gets a Tsunami Slam, and Jotun gets blasted by Izanami. Immortality pop there for Daniel, but now Influence Rage needs to run away from this. They get chased down. Blade Surge connects. Fury gets a kill onto the Daniel. The AOG point blank will not land, and here comes Amal with the shutdown. Unstoppable, looking to make it a double, but why not make MelQT part of the party as well? Gino the only one remaining, and after 22 minutes of action, Homeboys will finally be able to close it out with a win.
That was a really, really good game. I loved what I saw from Homeboys. That's the kind of tempo that I expect from one of the strongest teams as well in Malaysia. So, man, this is pretty good. I like what I saw with their utilization of the Moskov cross map, their utilization of that Suyo as well. I feel like there was like a small indecision that we saw from Influence Rage there, leaving the Esmeralda to defend against a Moskov on the bottom side of the map instead of joining the big team fights. Feels like a massive L for me. That's